This week's chapter of Hunter x Hunter was complex, to say the least. I had to read this chapter a good 5 different times to sort of try to understand what is going on in the battle between Hisoka and Chrollo, and that's because Chrollo himself just has so many abilities. And don't get me wrong, this was still another amazing chapter of Hunter x Hunter with some fantastic artwork and some great dialogue between Hisoka and Chrollo. The dialogue was so intense that I honestly don't even know who could potentially win this battle. I mean, I want to give the edge to Hisoka just because he's so incredibly unpredictable, so underhanded, and so just deliciously evil. But then you have Chrollo, who is, in many ways, the exact opposite of Hisoka in many ways. Super calm, super collected, nothing really ever seems to get under his skin, and he always seems to just sort of go through the motions, and he really seems like he's having a good time while battling against Hisoka while explaining all of his crazy abilities. I mean, before, he was using Shalnark's ability to take over bodies. Now he's got this other ability, which is this stamp, which can actually clone a corpse, turning it into a puppet that he can control himself as long as he gives them orders that aren't too complex. So he makes one of these weird clones of a corpse, he tells it to break Hisoka, and what happens? Hisoka breaks the puppet. Scratch that, he straight up decapitates the hell out of it. As if that weren't enough, Chrollo also has this other ability where he can actually transform into other people, and other people can transform into him, thanks to his brand new Sun and Moon abilities. This is a brand new technique that he apparently learned in Meteor City from this elder. It's so well known that even Hisoka is well aware of what this thing can do, and after pages of explanation of how these abilities work, which frankly, like I said, I still don't perfectly understand them, it all leads to the big battle between Hisoka and Chrollo, where Chrollo literally starts to run into the stands in the audience, and of course Hisoka is going to run right after him, and he's taking control of different people, using them as shields. There's this one big guy that gets right in front of Hisoka. Hisoka just jumps right in front of him and just completely crushes and rips his arms off. And then suddenly, Chrollo just disappears. He's gone, you can't see him anymore. My guess is he's actually used his brand new abilities to transform into someone in the audience, and he's going to try to use this to attack Hisoka. Either that, or he actually is going to try and escape from this fight, but I just don't see that happening. But then again, I really have no way of predicting how this battle is going to end. I mean, like I said in my previous review, I don't think Hisoka is going to be killed. There's no way they're going to kill this character before he has an opportunity to actually have his big rematch against Gon. Although, who knows, maybe Chrollo will actually transform Hisoka into his own personal puppet, and he'll still have the opportunity to fight against him. It's just really hard to tell who is going to win this battle, because both of their abilities are really insane. I mean, hell, Hisoka really hasn't even used anything all that crazy aside from hand-to-hand combat and his bungee gum in this battle, so I can't wait to see if he has any other secrets in trying to figure out what exactly is going on with Chrollo. But you can kind of tell from this chapter that he is getting a little worried about his abilities, and that's one of the very first times that has actually happened in the Hunter x Hunter series. To see Hisoka worried is honestly kind of worrisome. So what's the rundown on this week's chapter of Hunter x Hunter? A very complex read. It's kind of hard to follow, but it does make sense when you read it a couple of times. But like I said, even I'm still a little confused after reading this chapter a couple of times. It's one of those situations where I really wish that the Hunter x Hunter anime would come back, because the anime version just did such a great job of explaining powers and how they worked, and the powers in Hunter x Hunter can be very complex because there's always a lot of rules which are applied to them, and Chrollo has the ability to have multiple abilities thanks to his special book, not to mention his bookmark, and all these other brand new things like the stamp and the sun and the moon. He constantly is introducing brand new abilities, and if I had to pick a winner, like who might actually really is going to come out on top in this battle, I do have to give the edge to Chrollo, but only because he's a much more mysterious character. We still haven't really seen him go all out quite yet. I think the biggest battle he had previously in the series was against Killua's father and grandfather earlier on in the series, and that battle never concluded, so we really never got to see how that was all going to end, but he still seemed like he was on top during that battle as well. Not to mention, this dude is the leader of Phantom Troop, which is basically the Akatsuki of this series, which means they are characters that you do not want to mess with. They are extreme, they are crazy. Hell, Hisoka used to be a member of the group, although all he really wants to do is kill Chrollo, because it's going to get him off. However, this battle might not be as exciting for Hisoka as he originally planned. He is getting very worried by seeing these abilities and realizes that if he doesn't figure them out quite yet and take out Chrollo immediately, that this battle could go on for quite some time and he might actually end up being turned into a puppet himself. And that would probably be the worst wish of Hisoka. And so, this was a pretty awesome chapter of Hunter x Hunter. A little complex, but honestly, it had some fantastic artwork and some very riveting dialogue, and I really loved how at the very end, Chrollo started to run into the audience, and Hisoka got in there, basically taking out everyone who gets in his way. It's exactly what Hisoka was doing, and it's turning into one of the most unique battles that I've seen from the Hunter x Hunter series. Not to mention that this battle is still honestly shocking to me. It's really surprising that they decided to go to this just out of nowhere, especially because it really doesn't have that much to do with the overall story that is the Dark Continent arc, but it might eventually have some sort of connection to that, and I can't wait to see what that's going to be, whether it involves just Hisoka himself, or Phantom Troop, or both of those characters. What I can say is, this is an exciting time to be a Hunter x Hunter fan, and it just makes me wish that the anime version would eventually return, because there is so much great material here for an anime adaptation. And speaking of the Hunter x Hunter anime, if any of you have not actually seen it, or you've never read the manga version, I would highly recommend checking out the brand new Hunter x Hunter dub, which is on Adult Swim on Saturday nights. It's actually pretty decent. It's a great way to be introduced to these characters. You can watch it from beginning to end, and then you can jump into this amazing manga series right here, which continues to surprise me every single week. It's like the exact opposite of Bleach in many ways, where Bleach you can read in like a single minute. When you read Hunter x Hunter, you have to take the time to sit down, relax, and digest every single bit. It's also worth noting that the artwork has been really nice in the last couple of chapters. A lot better than some of the previous chapters that I've seen from Hunter x Hunter. And I think that's something that definitely needs to be complimented, especially now that the author has finally decided to work on this one, and hopefully there will be no more delays in the future. But it's amazing to think that the last 3 weeks, we've had some pretty kick-ass chapters of Hunter x Hunter. And this one right here was also pretty legendary. I can't wait to see how this battle is going to wrap up. So, I like this one right here. It was a little confusing. That being said, it was incredibly entertaining. So I'm going to give this week's chapter a 4 out of 5. Check it out, Hunter x Hunter fans. You might see something you like. But if any of you guys did read this week's chapter of Hunter x Hunter, why don't you tell me what you thought about it in the comments section below? Were you as confused as I was about Chrollo's abilities? What do you think is going to happen in their final battle? Do you think Hisoka's going to win? Is Chrollo going to win? What do you want to see from the Dark Continent arc of Hunter x Hunter? Please tell me in the comments section below. You guys are awesome. Thank you for watching this review. I really appreciate it. If you guys would like to help out the channel, please share this video review with all of your friends. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. That way you'll be able to see all of our latest anime and manga reviews, as well as our weekly podcast show. It's pretty damned awesome. You guys can also follow us on social media. Make sure to check out all that stuff in the description box below. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby!